What is up, you freaky folks? My name is Nick, and welcome to my channel, where I cover all things horror and general entertainment stuff. Whatever you're watching, I'm making videos about. And it's time for your monthly dose of Hulu recommendations, and strap in everybody because a lot of these are leaving at the end of the month. It's kind of hard to tell so early on what really will be leaving or not. Internet, make my life easier. But either way, these are all movies that you're gonna wanna watch in the month of December. So if you're not already subscribed, make sure you do so. That way you stay up to date with what to watch and where to watch it. Number 10 is Lost in Space. This sci-fi action adventure is based on a television series from the 60s. In it, the Robinson family heads into space as Earth becomes less and less habitable. On a mission to colonize a new planet, how American, pretty much everything goes wrong as the family must survive the harsh conditions of space. If you're a fan of Netflix's Lost in Space TV show, but you don't want to go back to the original series, this is a pretty solid middle ground. It is a little long, it's over 2 hours, and it's kind of weak as an action film. It's really more family sci-fi, but I like the adventure that it displays, and it's all about problem solving and survival, which is my ish. So if you can get into it, this is enjoyable fun, even though I will agree with most that it's quite standard, but it's leaving at the end of the month, so you're gonna want to watch it soon.
Danger, Robinson, danger! You did this!
Number 9 is Knocked Up. This raunchy romantic comedy stars Seth Rogen and Katherine Heigl. In it, a successful up-and-coming TV personality has a one-night stand with a sloppy man-child and becomes pregnant. The two stick together and try to make it work through the ups and downs of pregnancy. Knocked Up helped reinvigorate the major studio comedy in the 2000s, and while it might seem a little too Judd Apatow at this point, these major comedies are going the way of the dinosaur, and if you were alive in 2007, you saw Knocked Up. Okay, maybe you didn't, but you get my point. It's leaving soon, so watch it.
What do you think of him? He's funny, right?
Fetch. All right, bring it back.
He's playing fetch with my kids.
Go get it. Fetch.
Number 8 is Romeo and Juliet, the 90s version that stars Leonardo DiCaprio and Claire Danes. You know the story. A boy and a girl from rival families fall for each other, leading to a tragic conclusion. This adaptation from Baz Luhrmann, who did Moulin Rouge, takes the traditional text and presents it in contemporary Southern California. This certainly will not work for everyone. It is both so of its time and also one of many retellings, but it was my introduction to Romeo and Juliet and gave me the appreciation for the material that I should have as a writer, so I'm thankful for that. Plus, 90s Claire Danes is my queen. I'd suggest proceeding with caution. Check out some trailers or clips before diving into the movie, but it's a beautiful shit show.
Did my heart love till now? Forswear at sight, for I never saw true beauty till this night.
Number 7 is Sunshine, a sci-fi thriller from director Danny Boyle. In it, a crew of international astronauts set out on a futuristic mission to revive a dying sun. Along the way, they encounter dangers that threaten the entire crew. I remember checking this one out back in the day as soon as I could because it stars Chris Evans, the only Chris I need in my life, but it has a stacked cast all around, and it does exactly what I want it to do by descending into a full-blown horror film by the end. This is a movie that I feel like people know about but don't really talk about, so I'm kind of hoping it blows up once people discover it on Hulu.
Who's the 5th crew member?
Unknown.
Number 6 is Wild Things. This 90s erotic thriller is about a high school guidance counselor who becomes involved in a sickening legal dispute that uncovers an organized scheme in a wealthy Floridian community. Two teen girls accuse the counselor of assault, but the question becomes, did he or didn't he? This movie will certainly be viewed differently than it was when it first came out. In fact, I would totally disagree today with the framing device. However, I still find it fascinating. I love erotic thrillers spoilers, and this is the juiciest I have ever seen. The sex is actually quite tame by today's standards, but I will give it props for including male nudity, which is still rare. I didn't really want to see Kevin Bacon naked, but I love him for doing it. This movie is sleazy, swampy fun, and I fully understand if it isn't for you. But if you can get into it, this twisty-turny thriller is a total blast.
There's no one to trust. You can trust me.
Number 5 is Cliffhanger, an action thriller starring Sylvester Stallone, and it's a bit convoluted, so stick with me. A group of criminals pull off a heist mid-air, but an accident leads to their loot being strewn about the Rocky Mountains. Stallone plays an expert climber with a troubled past who is called in to help the stranded victims until he learns their true nature and it becomes a fight for survival on the mountains. This movie is a bit too long and a tad too ridiculous, but it's my kind of fun. Sylvester Stallone is the #1 actor to display massive little dick energy, and it shows in this movie, but it's an intense adventure thriller that is so up my alley. Number 4 is The Net. This 90s dramatic thriller stars Sandra Bullock as a computer programmer who goes on vacation only to be attacked by a handsome stranger. She learns her identity has been wiped and she loses control of her life. What conspiracy is targeting Angela Bennett? This movie is so early internet, it'll definitely be cringe material to some, but this is one I grew up on and was one of my favorites as a kid. Sandra Bullock is obviously a queen, duh, and this is maybe the only good thriller that she's ever done. Shout out to Murder by Numbers, hello. Like most 90s movies, this one is a little bit long, but I love it, and it's leaving at the end of the month, so I have to recommend you give it a shot at least once.
Just give us the disc and we'll give you your life back.
Sandra Bullock is sensational.
They've done it to me, they're gonna do it to you.
In The Net.
Number 3 is Deadpool. This action comedy based on the Marvel Comics stars Ryan Reynolds as the titular badass who gets revenge on the bad guys after being wronged by the system. This is the type of R-rated comic book movie that we definitely need more of. Fingers crossed that Deadpool 3 happens sooner rather than later. The sequel, Deadpool 2, is also available, and I know it isn't loved as much, but I enjoy it.
It reeks like old lady pants in here.
Sounds like you have a dick in your mouth.
Number 2 is Working Girl. This classic 80s drama is about a secretary who rises in the ranks of the corporate world while everyone is against her. This favorite stars Melanie Griffith, Harrison Ford, and Sigourney Weaver. I have always loved this movie, and I still think it is fantastic. I'm sure many modern viewers will look at this movie with disgust because it does not hold up to today's standards, but that's kind of the point. This is a peek into what the world was like and why change is so necessary today. It might not be for everyone, but Working Girl had to walk so today's movies could run.
I have a head for business and a bod for sin. Is there anything wrong with that?
Number 1 is Gone Girl. This thriller, based on the novel by Gillian Flynn, is directed by David Fincher. In it, a married woman goes missing, and her husband becomes the prime suspect. But there's more to the story than meets the eye. If you haven't already seen Gone Girl, this is one of the best journeys you will go on in a recent thriller. I read the book before seeing the movie and found that the film actually did it better. Probably because writer Gillian Flynn also wrote the screenplay, but this movie is near perfect in my opinion. The acting is great, the cinematography is great, the editing is great, the everything is great. I don't care if you've seen Gone Girl a million times. Watch it again while it's on Hulu.
The hallmark of a sociopath is a lack of empathy.
Amy lost a lot of blood in there, and then somebody mopped it up.
Why do they mop up the blood if they're trying to stage a crime scene?
Whatever they found, I think it's safe to assume that it's very bad.
And now it's time for my bad movie recommendation of the month. Not Another Teen Movie is a spoof poking fun at all the 90s comedies. The late 90s saw a resurgence of both teen horror and teen comedies. After the success of Scary Movie, it was only natural that Not Another Teen Movie would come next. This movie is stupid and gross, but it's the one that made me fall in love with Chris Evans. So I guess I'll always have a special place in my heart for this garbage, but it is leaving at the end of the month. So if you're in the mood for some nostalgic laughs, get into it.
Saw you at our practice, and I know you stole our routine.
We've always done our own cheers.
Well, then you better bring it.
Oh, it's already been brought in.
That is my list of the best movies to watch on Hulu in the month of December. Thank you so much for watching this video. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much for closing out the year with me, you guys. I am so excited to bring you more recommendations and fun videos in the new year. So if you're not already subscribed, again, let me suggest that you do that so you stay up to date with what to watch and where to watch it. If you're feeling generous, feel free to throw me a like or a share, subscribe to my channel maybe, hit that bell, and turn on your notifications. That way you don't miss any creepy content. Follow me on Instagram, all that good stuff. Thank you guys just once again. I really appreciate your support. I don't really know how to put it into words other than to say thank you over and over again. So one last time, thank you guys so much. That is it for this video, but I won't stop you from watching another.